Welcome to the Dauphiné. It is the final day today. No rest for the wicked. Yesterday, well, at least it was dry-ish. Came to the line, two riders in it, and Fulsang was going to be the loser here. The man looked like he was suffering on the final climb of the day. Was Sammy Sanchez, but he dug deep, found something extra. The relief palpable. And in fact, it's just a few moments after these celebrations, he just burst into tears. He said it was one heck of an effort. There's our leader, Chris Froome. Can anyone catch him? Highly unlikely. He has such a gap in the general standings that, well, that yellow jersey certainly looks like it's 51 seconds. Richie Porte's teammate, nearest man to him, hardly going to challenge, is he, on the final day. So Froome in the yellow and blue jersey. And what are they dealing with on stage 8? Well, if anyone thought that this was going to be gentle on the riders, think again. Very, very tough. 2 Category 1 climbs, including the finish into Risoul. There it is, and 155.5 kilometers as well. We're quite deep into the stage, and we're just about to crest the Col de Vars. Now, look at the height. Yes, 2,100 meters. Now, aircraft operate lower than 6,000 feet or thereabouts, and we're higher than that, up past the cloud level. And as you can see, it's a bit of a toil, especially for those who are trying to get something out of this day. That's Alessandro De Marchi of Cannondale, and that's Travis Meyer of Orica Greenedge alongside him. Tim Wellens, who animated the escape today. The break went off with 24 riders at the 15-kilometer mark. But plenty have been climbing off the bike today. Not Eddie Voss, he's still with us, and at least he's got a national jersey jacket to tell us that that's who he is. Yes, not exactly flourishing in these conditions. Then again, who is? Some decided it was just too much, and adding to the list of did not starters were those who climbed off. Lopez from Sky, which was a bit of a surprise. BMC, Tor Ushoft and Santa Romita decided no thanks. Benny King from Radio Shack likewise. Buani Alusondi from Francis de Jure taking their team from full strength to -2. Bahani, Pierre Roland, who said he's got a knee problem which does not bode well for the Tour de France. Chavanel, Mace, Seri, De Ghent from Vacances Soleil, those previous trio, including Chavanel, of course, from Omega Pharma Quick-Step. So it has been a huge attrition rate. And in fact, we've had a good old battle in the first climb of the day. The Category 3 opener, which was Breole, taken by De Mazur. So he's done the job, and now, provided he finishes within the cut-off time today, and I'm sure he will, then he is our king of the mountains. Meersman took the intermediate sprint, and in so doing can only be beaten by Chris Froome if Froome wins today's stage for the points jersey, incidentally, the green points jersey, and Meersman fails to pick up any more points. So he leads by 14 points. You get 15 for a win, if you see what I mean. Plenty of fans out, as you can see, at the top of this penultimate climb. Now they're going to head down. It's a long downhill with a flat ramp halfway down. Would you like anything? Well, there you are. Rain cape is what he's gone for. I don't know why he just didn't hold out a rain cape. But there you go. Required to dip into the bin. And lucky dip, luckily for him, he got exactly what he was after. So they will go over the top here of Les Vars. So the first two men to crest it, the Col de Les Vars, and then it's a long downhill section, I've got to tell you. It goes from this point, 36.5 kilometers to go, just a little less than that right now, all the way down to Les Bruns, and then it's a bounce. They kick straight up onto the climb of Risoul, all the way to Risoul, which is a Category 1 as well, 13.9 kilometers at 6.7%. Now this last climb has really found out, or thinned down, I should say, those who were in the break. 24 riders, many of them have been reabsorbed into the chasing pack, which of course includes Chris Froome, and is being led by Sky and Saxo Tinkoff. So there you are, you're just about up to speed with 35.8 kilometers remaining of this Critérium du Dauphiné. It's miserable, a lot of downward curves to the mouths along the way. Neds Valverde, he's decided that he wants to get something out of this, and maybe he can show the strength at the end of the day. He's been giving us glimpses of it. His team would like something out of this. Movistar haven't had a stage win yet, and they've been looking quite jealously, I think, at Europcar, who, of course, have got a couple. So, my name's Carlton Kirby, alongside me is Brian Smith. Brian, what a nasty, nasty day, not only the profile, but the weather as well, to finish off this year's Critérium du Dauphiné.
Yeah, a bit of a shame, but the riders for the GC in the stage, they have to continue, and you know, this is part of racing. We can't have any influence over the elements, and they just have to put up with it, because the other thing is a lot of riders climbing off, maybe thinking of the Tour de France. You just see one of the riders here from Orica, Green Edge, just taking the wrong top. We're going to get a general regroupment, but the riders in front still a healthy advantage. You've still got Mayer, Demarque and Wellens, 3 riders together, and it was in fact an attack right at the bottom of this climb from the original breakaway of 24 riders, and they've not really lost too much because they hit the bottom of the climb with just over 2 minutes. We have had an attack from the bunch from Warren Barguil for Argo Shimano and Valverde. But I'm pretty sure it will all come back together. Looking at the original 24-man breakaway, the teams that missed that are Sky. Obviously, they're just keeping everything behind and looking after Chris Froome. Saxo Tinkoff missed it. They came up at the bottom of the climb and set in the tempo. We said yesterday that Contador really looking for a stage win, looking good. They just wanted to make sure that Michael Rogers was safe enough in podium position. Garmin Sharp also missed it. They missed the breakaway yesterday, but they're just looking after Rowan Dennis and just thinking of that white jersey. They have had 3 riders climb off today: Fernandez, Crida and Wraith. Also Lamprey missed out. They've not really been in the race at all. Cunego is still their best placed rider at 13 minutes and 19, so they've only got 4 riders left in this race, so not allowed to shout about. Team Netap Enduro, also one of the second division teams, have missed out in the original breakaway, but again, maybe not got the rider to think of a possible stage win. So yeah, Saxo Tinkoff have taken it up, and they're thinking, bring these riders back and hopefully Contador can win the stage for them. It's
Grisly, as you can see. Tim Wellens animated the break at the beginning. It was his efforts at around about the 15-kilometre mark into today's race that dragged 24 riders. Quick bit of maths, and nobody of a threat whatsoever. Meersman 23 minutes and 19 down, wearing the green jersey, of course, and battling for points. He's taken the intermediate sprint, as we mentioned at the top of the programme. But yes, he was the best placed of all of the riders, a couple of them well over an hour down. So it has come to this. It's about the stage win today, possibly about the green points jersey, but I think Meersman can probably count himself as being the owner of that. He can only be beaten by Chris Froome if Froome wins today and Meersman fails to score another point. Meersman, having taken that intermediate sprint ahead of Fletcher, was in the break yet again, just can't help himself, which is good to know. Warren Barguil, a lot of French speaking about this man. Tim Wellens up front in today, and he's only 22 years of age, and he's been a busy boy. 5th on stage of the Tour of Beijing, where he finished 10th last year as a real youngster. He's only just turned 22 as well, so I think it was 20 when he did that on the Beijing. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure. 32 kilometres to go. 2 minutes and 7 is the gap. So we'll take ourselves a break. We'll keep an eye on this descent. It goes on for some time, so you'll be back with us at speed in a moment.
From joy, listen to the crowd as Woffenden comes down the home straight. What a start to this British Grand Prix! To despair for Ty Woffenden in Cardiff. Oh! Drama! So with the home favourite on his way to hospital, it was Emil Sayfutdinov who went on to claim his 3rd Grand Prix of the season. Wow! Now for round 6. Speedway World Championships goes on Saturday 6 p.m. live on British Eurosport 2 HD.
Eurosport Player is the Eurosport multi-screen service. With Eurosport Player, watch British Eurosport and British Eurosport 2 live on computer, smartphone and tablet through a single subscription. Watch your favourite events through the catch-up service. Also enjoy exclusive content through the bonus channels. Eurosport Player. All sports, all emotions.
Okay, which one of you losers nicked my deodorant?
Who'd want to smell like you?
Who would have smell like you?
Nice. Mature.
Zip it, Shrimpy.
Dan, eat your Snickers.
Why?
Because you turn into a right diva when you're hungry. Better?
Better. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers. Get some nuts.
Victor!
Morris, how did you get in here?
When you're a wag, Vic, doors just open. Oops. Before they clock them a geezer, give us your best odds on the match.
Morris, if you want our best odds, just go on to betvictor.com. We had the best odds most often on the Premier League last season.
Ooh.
For a free £25 bet, talk to Victor.
Allure sport au extrême, Chanel.
Where was the last time you saw Bin Laden?
We have to stop the next attack.
Bin Laden is there.
Zero Dark 30 on Blu-ray and DVD Monday.
Welcome back. The chase is on, and excuse me, Valverde will love to be part of things. There is Ian Stannard, British champion, and Edvald Bosenhagen, who's been going well, to be honest, taking himself a stage win, of course, winning stage 3 on what turned out to be a bit of a shootout between himself, Matthews, and Mearsman. Talking about Aussies, we've still got one up here and in the break. I know a lot of you watching down under. Travis Meyer, 24-year-old, real hard case, and he's doing a job. Tim Mellons, incidentally, was 4th in the King of the Mountains competition in Norway, and as you know, if you know Norway, it's quite lumpy. So give him a chance today, and he may well just take it. It is quite a youthful profile. DeMarchi, we mentioned over the last couple of days, he's been also quite a busy boy. As you know, he's also once again kind of in the frame, I suppose you might say, but this is one of these little sub-ramps that we were talking about, a little flatter section, and the pace that's being set by those driving on is quite high. Minute and 59 only the gap. In terms of plans for today, nobody's going for the GC, Brian, but there's some very, very close fighting going on for the last podium spot. Skyriders 1 and 2, we got Chris Froome and Richie Porte. But then the next 4 riders absolutely locked together in that battle for that last step.
Yeah, points in this race down to the top 10. So it's going to be a battle for Froome and Richie Porte. It looks as if, you know, they are strong enough to finish 1-2. Richie Porte went to try and win the stage, but just left it a wee bit too late. I thought that maybe Froome would maybe led and tried to bring back Sanchez and Fulsang in the end, but Richie went, but it was a wee bit too late for him to try and win the stage. Maybe Froome might try and help Richie today for the stage, but they're going to battle with Contador. Contador, I think, for me, it wants to come out with some confidence and try and win that stage. He rode tremendously well yesterday, Contador, and helping Mick Rogers. Mick Rogers is now 10 seconds in front of Danny Moreno, and they want to try and keep him there in 3rd place. So a bit of a difficult one for Saxo Tinkoff. Contador in this last finishing climb will want to try and look after Mick Rogers. But if there's an opportunity of the stage win, Contador will be thinking that. But he did ride tremendously well for his teammate, which is nice to see. Yeah, always good. Moreno, incidentally, from Katusha, is only 10 seconds behind Michael Rogers, as Brian mentioned. Danny Navarro of Cofidis, only a further 2 seconds back. And Jakub Fulsang, who you saw busy yesterday, also in the frame. So Rogers, Moreno, Navarro and Fulsang only separated by, well, I think it's about 27 seconds, 25 seconds, something like that. So very, very tight at the top. But, of course, the top 2 places occupied by Sky, with Chris Froome and Richie Porte look extremely strong. Manuel Quinziato, one of the original breakaway riders, coming across to the 3 in front. So you've got Travis Mayer, who had his 24th birthday yesterday. He was in the break, so again, no birthday present for him yesterday, but an opportunity today. DeMarque, also on the attack yesterday, and again, it looks as if he's got good legs today. Wellens, so Manuel Quinziato, trying to save the day for BMC again, coming into this race full of promise, looking for stages, have nothing to really shout about. Looking at the top 10, yeah, Rogers will probably see, you know, he'll have to look behind him. Fulsang looks good. Valverde is another rider that I want to try and attack, but looking at it, Moreno, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't tried to attack. I think he'll be happy just seeing what he can do and maybe sit in 4th place. Steph Clement was good ride for him yesterday, just kind of hanging in there. Around Dennis, he'll find it difficult, but he's just looking at that white jersey. And I can't see anything else coming from anywhere else. Maybe Sammy Sanchez would maybe try again.
Oh, 1 and 2. And I'm just hoping that second man down there looked like he went down badly on the elbow. Let's check this out. Cofidis rider down, and then one of the Green Edge boys, was it? Oh, Sextinkoff, let's have a look. Just going down on his elbow. That's the worst thing he can possibly
Contador.
do. And it is Contador. There we are. Forgive me. Well, he's all right. He's back up. He's taken a nudge. He did his level best there to avoid the Cofidis rider on the deck. Just hit him with the back wheel, I think. So I thought he was going to go straight over the top, but Contador almost caught out there, but quickly back on. Right, let's have a look at this.
The white speed bump, he just hits the side bit of it, slightly raised.
Watch Contador clips him with the back wheel. He was actually locked up and sliding sideways.
It's one of these Kalman things where it was slightly raised up, and the way he hit it, the front wheel just slid. So it's quite unfortunate. But Contador now has to chase to get back on. I'm pretty sure he will. But a difficult fall there.
Yeah, it was a difficult fall. He took it well. Got his elbow out of the way, clearly, at the very last. Thank goodness. Chris Froome will be now just ingesting the information that Contador's taken a hit out there. Not that he's overly worried about Contador. 2 minutes and 56 down, but we were just talking just a few moments ago, Brian, that Contador might well think about today. I don't know whether he's going to be spurred on here or whether he's happy enough with his bike. Just a little check on the brakes out the back. That may well be to get a bit of a magic spanner. We'll see. But just having a look, yeah, just ripped on this shorts here,
well,
as you can see.
Quite fortunate it was wet. So. Sometimes when it's wet, you don't get as much road rash. You can just see the rip in the side of the shorts. And I tell you what, this is cycling is dangerous at times, and you know, he could have fallen over and possibly broken his collarbone or anything and been out the Tour de France. So quite fortunate. You don't like to see anybody crashing. The Cofidis rider just hitting that kind of speed Kalman white raised bit in the road. So front wheel just went away from him, and obviously taking out Contador. So it's quite unfortunate, but I think Contador looks okay and very lucky.
Cameraman straight in there, the stills cam, taking close-up shots of his injury, just in case it turns potentially anything. Having a look back instantly, digitally, and thinking, well, that's not much. Thank goodness, took a skim across the surface, I think you might say, after skimming the rider who was prone on the deck. Both of them we understand okay. Well, certainly Contador is someone we understand. The Cofidis rider is back up and on as well. 23.6 kilometres to go, 2 minutes and 13. Just goes to show you, Brian, there's not really any such thing as a favourite in cycling, because you can be taken out at any time. You just have to take care. You've got to ride your luck as well in this game, and that's something you can't really manage. 23.2 kilometres to go, 2 minutes and 17 is the gap. We'll be back, and I'm sure perhaps more drama before the end of this one. Stay with us.
After the disappointment of missing the French Open, Andy Murray heads to London's historic Queen's Club, looking to get his season back on track. The Aegon Championships starts tomorrow, 12:15 p.m, live on British Eurosport HD.
and world champions. Now, Merida takes to the road. Experience what it feels like to ride the fastest bikes. Merida, more bike.
Life was not always like this. We were losing a lot of babies. A simple vaccine was all that was needed to save their young lives. But the vaccines needed to be kept cold, from 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, against our African heat. We had to throw away lots of these, and it was such a challenge. Then Econet, through its Energize the Chain program, installed close proximity refrigerated containers. These simply use the excess power from the wireless base stations. Now, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
By creating innovative solutions, Econet Wireless is promoting community transformation and joins the fight against the top 5 child killer diseases. Econet Wireless, inspired to change your world.
Where's Earl? Lunch break's nearly over. Probably out buying some new gizmo. Don't worry, he's always on time.
Actually, he's often back early, just like a Wonga loan.
Too right, Joyce. Take out a cash loan for up to 31 days, and we make it really easy for you to pay it back early. In fact, nearly a quarter of our customers do.
Told you he'd be early.
Next thing you know, he'll be on a hoverboard.
Well, he won't be taking me back to the future.
Wonga.com, straight talking money.
Well, if it was an issue, I think we've got a
Jack Bauer.
Yeah, is it real? Just waiting. He's going to go for a bike change by the looks of things. Not sure whether he's got a gear change issue. It's cropped up a number of times, incidentally. Electronics, particularly in the wet. Not quite sure whether it is an inundation issue or whether it's just quite simply that it's not built for that kind of thing. In terms of slip, you get plenty of it, and gear selections have been an issue, a dogged one, I think, right the way through the Giro d'Italia. Plenty of riders suffering from it, and most notably, of course, Bradley Wiggins, I think. Cadel Evans, likewise.
One of the original breakaway riders, and right there for Euskaltel, and Sammy Sanchez, seeing him, just takes his cape and gives it to him. I'm just looking at Jack Bauer there. You may have noticed it's a strange one, that, but you know, Jack Bauer's a lovely guy. I brought him over from New Zealand to ride with Endura, and he's kind of really stepped up, really likeable lad, and a really strong big engine. I don't know if he saw some his team capes on the side of the road and decided, right, that's my job, and walked back down the road, picked them up, put them up his back, because he had a couple already up his back, and we'll give them into the team helper further up the climb. So
he didn't respect the bike that much. I think it was possibly a bit more of an issue, but yeah, he did sort of spot them. Maybe he was just unloading, as you say, and taking the opportunity. So yeah, another perfect example of drift back. And we're looking at another lumpy rider here who's collected a whole load of apparel.
Astroloza, who was in the original breakaway. They had 2 riders, Igor Martinez and Michael Astroloza. So Astroloza was one of 2 riders in the break. But Sanchez looking again, possibly for another stage win. But
I was just getting across my mind. I thought so.
But the thing is, Kirienka sitting in front for Team Sky, they're not going to rip up this climb. It's cold. They don't want to really go into the reds. It really depends on Saxo Tinkoff. If Saxo Tinkoff want to win this stage, and you've got to remember that they don't. If Contador is let loose in this climb, then it might put Mick Rogers in jeopardy for his 3rd place, because, as you said, the podium is not confirmed. Anything can happen, but it does look as if Team Sky are now well in control here. You see Chris Froome and no armours whatsoever. He's happy to ride up this climb, but yeah, looking good to take his first win in the Critérium du Dauphiné.
Wellens decides he's going to show them who's boss. He's got his work cut out, and it's Losado of Katusha that takes up the chase, just dragging along Travis Meyer. All of these part of the original escape that went off today. Those breakers have thinned right down. We've just got the 5 right now. There are a couple of intermediate riders down the road before we get to the yellow jersey of Chris Froome, where Alberto Contador lurks. Sky's setting a decent pace, and so are these guys, to be honest. And yes, it just remains to be seen what Sexto Tinkoff do. If they want it today, Brian, they're going to have to work.
Yeah, they are. Sergio Paulino at the back now. Just hearing from race radio that Hernandez is climbed off as well. Very depleted peloton. So this means that I don't know if they've got the riders now to commit. If Contador goes on the attack, it could blow this race apart, and that wouldn't be good for Mick Rogers. So with losing Sergio Paulino here, Hernandez climbing off, that means that only Rogers and Contador are in this front group, and I think Contador's job now, after crashing there, will mean that he'll want to look after Mick Rogers and keep him on the podium, which means these guys have got a perfect opportunity of trying to win this stage.
Well, they should give it a go. They've got 10.2 kilometres to go, and they lead by just under 3 minutes. Tim Vellens is more than aware of this, and he passes the 10k marker. Vellens out the saddle. Well, if you're going to take it, you do have to reach out and grasp occasionally, and is he doing that right now? Is it going to be a nettle? We'll see where the sting comes from. Maya, Lozada, Demarchi and Kinziato from BMC on his case right now. Demarchi from Cannondale, Orica Greenedge, Travis Meyer, Lozada from Katusha, and Tim Vellens, Lotto Belisol. The young Belgian has decided to have a go. He's been having a go all day, so it's not like it's not been telegraphed to absolutely everybody. I think you're absolutely right, Brian. I think Sky are going to be allowed to drag this at least a little closer. Contador might just want a scalp, and that man would be, of course, Chris Froome, just for bragging rights. Sammy Sanchez here has got nothing to lose, and after yesterday, digging and finding some amazing reserves very, very deep down, I think he's on a bit of a high today, and it may well be that even after an exhausting day like yesterday, he's wanting to show what he can do. Just having a big check back there as well. You saw Sammy Sanchez close on the inside of the curve. Good place to be. Best place to be is out front, and Tim Vellens is that man right now, and he's spinning it up nicely. Compare his cadence to Sky, who are leading the chase on.
Yeah, they've just scooped up Manuel Garatti of Blanco. So Blanco well represented in the original 24-man breakaway. Maybe a couple of riders still in between. We know that Warren Barguil is still about 30-40 seconds in front of the Sky-led peloton, but Kirienka just tapping out of rhythm. They're just tapping out of rhythm to maybe stop the attacks more than anything else. But you can just see the orange jerseys. Only one in there, and that's the stage winner from yesterday, Sammy Sanchez. Katusha are not going to do anything with Moreno and Perito, Joaquim Rodriguez, because they've got Lozada in front. This man seems to come to a climb and wants to go on the attack every time he hit one. Just see Warren Barguil has decided that it's enough's enough, and he's brought back into the peloton, just taking a gel there. So really, I don't think anybody now between them and the 5 in front of Wellens, Meyer, Demarchi, Lozada and Quinziato.
There's Chris Froome. He must be delighted with the way this has gone. He's done it virtually, but of course taking a stage win on stage 5 as well, and in so doing beating Contador to the line. In fact, putting some distance between himself and Contador was exactly what he needed to do. Just as a marker apart from anything else, I think Contador perhaps suspected that he might be allowed to go. Chris Froome looking for the stage win. It always underscores a victory. The press like to see it. Riders love it as well. If you're going to win a big title, and believe me, the Critérium du Dauphiné is a big title, then you want that stage win as well. Thanks for all your messages, by the way, on Twitter. If you'd like to get in touch, then please feel free to do so. It's Carlton Kirby, CarltonKirby, or Bryce Smithy, BRISMITHY. Antonio Fletcher, also part of today's escape, Brian, and he's been quite animated over the last week.
Well, I was just about to say that, Carlton, that he was probably worth a bit of a tour stage win. Presumably he's in the tour for Vacances, but he looks to be in good form. Okay, he's not a mountain climber, but this is an opportunity. He has won a stage of the Tour in the past, and you know, looks as in good enough form, getting in the breakaways, and possibility of a stage in the Tour.
Absolutely. Possibility of a win today for Tim Wellens. Not quite sure whether I'd put a stack on him, but believe me, he's got a chance. Johan Bagot. Bagot to you and me. In French. They've had a bit of rough stuff today, have Cofidis. They've been quite bright, in fact remain at full strength, and I like that. Team that don't want to give up, and that's a rarity right now, to be honest, a full strength team.
Yeah, their team leader, Jerome Coppel, was dropped actually in the Col de Vars, so not looking good for them, but he has, they have got strong, obviously. Mate crashed and brought down Contador, but Navarro and Taramai looking strong, so this is their A team here, and I think they can go away with their heads held high. Okay, they've not won a stage, but Navarro still in 5th overall, and Taramai just lost a wee bit of time yesterday, but still in 11th position.
Talking about water inundation into electronics, it's looking very much like a what do they used to call it? A gel, I think they used to put on across cameras to give a sort of an oldie-worldy look. Unfortunately, it's basically just steamed up inside the camera here, so he's doing his best to give us some art shots close up. When he goes wide, the camera does not look great, unfortunately. Water's got everywhere today, so we'll see whether it does dampen proceedings. Paulinho, I don't know why we're still tracking him, but he's just holding on by his skin of his teeth from the yellow jersey group as we look at them right now. Some pretty handy riders in here, I've got to say. Ison's, I think, one of those from BMC who's also still very much part of this, but Sky tapping out this rhythm, and as Brian said, they're just essentially keeping it fast enough so that nobody else can join the fun.
He's unzipped his race jersey and cape, and no under jersey in front. I don't know if he feels the cold or feels any weather, but then again, why would he have a cape on in the first place?
I think he's just doing a hard man thing.
Man of steel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why not? If you can put the hurt mentally on your opponent, see what I mean about this camera? It's not great. I'm expecting spooky music any moment. It looks like a special effect. It's just steam. 8 kilometres to go, 2 minutes and 33. I'd love to know what the gap back is from Wellens to those remaining in the break, or at least foremost amongst them. Kinziato of BMC, Meyer of Orica Greenwich, Losada of Katusha, and Demarchi of Cannondale. There's Chris Froome, a man who just exudes confidence at the moment. A little bit camera shy, never really sort of gives us a nod or a smile. He'll probably wink at us any moment. Deep in his own thoughts, always the case, it seems. He lets his legs and indeed his team do the talking, and their message has been loud and clear. This man is out-and-out favourite. He's odds on, incidentally, which means you've got to put more money on than what you're going to get back. I think the best price is 4 to 5. So basically you put 5 on and you win 4 back. That's very, very narrow odds, especially as luck, as we've mentioned, ill fortune can dog anybody. But clearly Chris Froome is such a favourite for this year's Tour de France, and I think the performance of Contador has perhaps just put more weight upon the shoulders of Chris Froome in terms of expectation.
Yeah, he has to. He's going to have the pressure cooker like most favourites do have in July as a favourite for the Tour de France, and you know, obviously this is a good test for him. It's a bit more of a relaxed race, but you know, he has to be able to deal with this, because the extra pressures from all the press conferences and the demands of the Tour is just not about obviously riding the stages. There's a lot more going into it if you do get the jersey, and this is a good test for him. Just seen the BMC rider of Yannick Eliassen just on the right hand side, brought back from the original breakaway. Now the Norwegian champion of Bosenhagen comes towards the front. We are hearing that this gap is about just over 20 seconds back to the original Meyer, Demarchi, Losada and Quinziato. So Tim Wellens having a small advantage. In the first mountain top stage, he did this again and was caught. I think it was about 3-4 kilometres to go. So difficult times for a lot of riders in these conditions, but a very, very small peloton now, but nobody really wants to kind of take up the chase to the riders in front. Still a long way to go. 2 minutes and 23 seconds is very doable if the riders want to go on the attack, but for a lot of these riders, they've had a tough tour and a tough day today.
Kirienka unzipped and, yes, lethal, especially if you need an engine room. But clearly he's now in neutral, having done his job. It's amazing how Sky kind of time their...
well, that was 10 Dam, Lawrence 10 Dam going out the back there. So Blanco, he's 13th at 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yes.
Warren Barkwell, after his efforts as well, now getting dropped for Argo Shimano.
Do you know, Barkwell, he was talked up massively, wasn't he, after the Tour of l'Avenir. The French do sort of grab onto whatever they can in terms of potential success. But yeah, hasn't really delivered. Crashed on stage 6, and I think that kind of knocked the stuffing out of him. And so 2 days later, he's still maybe just feeling that ever so slightly. Alberto Contador, incidentally, did crash earlier on today as well. Yes, we'll see what the delivery of that is in terms of results later on today. But they're strung out, right?
Yeah, just give some names to some of the riders. So you get Rogers on the left-hand side, Contador just behind him there. Then you got two in the red jerseys, Marino and Joaquim Rodriguez for Katusha, as we see the back wheel of Wellens again.
I heard that Perita, as he's known, Joaquim Rodriguez, had actually stepped off earlier on, but it was an ill-judged report. Very much still there, but he seems to not be at his most significant best. Maybe today will be that kind of day. I don't know whether Sky are just prepared to give him his head. We'll see. It's running out of road though, 6.4 kilometers to go only, and this gap out front, yeah, it's hovering around about 20 seconds back to his co-breakers who remain. And Sky just seem to have picked up ever so slightly as Kirienka had done his job, and they've got a new lead man.
Just picking up the riders. Navarro there for Cofidis, Fulsang there for Astana, Kunigo just over there in the pink, Valverde here in the dark blue. So just picking out more of the riders in this front group. I'm not too sure anybody would be missing from yesterday, just looking further behind here, and just so I think it might have been Talansky down towards the back. Jürgen van den Broek at the back of this peloton. Just looking to see, yeah, you can see Rowan Dennis also on the left-hand side, just with the white sleeves. He has got the white jersey. So most of the riders that were in the climb yesterday, as we see Jürgen Rollins just give us a glare.
Not overly delighted. Wellens out front for Lotto Belisol. Yeah, it's a tough thing, to be honest, to be caught in a situation such as this if you're not functioning. Yeah, Van den Broek did not look overly delighted. Not been talked about Van den Broek, incidentally, over the years, and I think possibly time running out. Fourth in the Tour de France last year, though, let's not forget. So I think really the book was open upon him, but the pages are being turned again and again, and likewise at this Critérium du Dauphiné. Mind you, conditions not fab, but you think the Belgian would function well. Tim Mellons is doing exactly that up the road at the moment, after being busy all day. Sky have been busy just monitoring and holding station, I think you might say. There's Sammy Sanchez winning yesterday, Alberto Contador, and Perito, Joaquim Rodriguez, just tracking him, being guided by a teammate at the moment. Well, it could all blow open later on. Let's talk about what we're dealing with up to Risoul. It does get very, very steep, very, very late, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a possibility if they're still within striking distance that we'll get some attacks in the last kind of couple of kilometres, but everybody quite happy just to sit behind the Sky-led peloton. The further Bosenhagen get up the climb, the more that he's saving everybody else. This is a bigger group than yesterday. Nobody really wanting to really take the bull by the horns and go for it. This is still 2 minutes, 5.4. So when we hit the bottom of this climb with 13, they had just over 3 minutes. So they haven't lost too much. Is because the tempo for Team Sky is such that it's going to stop in some of the attacks, but not really hard enough to bring back all these riders in front. So it's still looking good enough for Wellens for the possible stage win. You've got to remember that there still were some riders in between. This is another rider that was in the the attack on the last climb up the Col de Vars. He was actually with, I think it was Barguil and Valverde when they went on the attack.
Oh, hello. Jurgen van der Broek, well, he had the camera on him and he didn't look happy, and he'll be less so now, unfortunately. Just being gapped here on an important part, and all of a sudden a little bit of animation, and Contador decides to go. What will Sky do? Well, they increase the tempo, which is a little bit strange. I think they're more than wary of the danger here, Brian.
Yeah, no, this is a move. It's interesting to see that Contador is deciding to go with the moves. He is still interested in winning this stage today, as expected. The Norwegian champion has now done his bits at the front and now gone, so it's going to be interesting. Contador is not going over the top and going on the attack because he knows he'll be still a long way to go, but he's just hoping that these guys kind of crack a wee bit in front, because he does look as if he is really up for this stage win today. Probably I've spoken to Michael Rogers, and Michael Rogers is happy for him to do this.
Well, there you are. Clearly feels secure within his ability to take the podium. Meanwhile, up front, it's just starting to crack a little bit. Wellens, is he? Well, Demarchi is on his case right now, just bridging over from those 5 riders who came together on the last descent down into Le Brun. They're climbing up to Risoul, and he's looking good, but climbing away is Contador, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Sky let him have this. By that, I mean don't actively try and prevent him from winning today. And in fact, it would be great. He did say earlier on in the French press, if you missed it at the top of the show in L'Equipe, that he felt good. And in fact, if it rained, he would be feeling even better. Well, he took a tumble, skidded across the road surface, and he is absolutely right on it. Right now, this could be great.
Yeah, Tony Gallopin is the rider who's gone on the attack for Radio Shack here at the front, and Contador has not given him a turn. The gap is coming down to underneath 1 minute and 30, and obviously Tony Gallopin, good sprint on him, can go over climbs, but not really a top-end climb. I just noticed there that the Blanco rider, don't know if that was Steph Clement. You just see the rider there in the white sleeves there is round end is still up there. But interestingly enough, Mick Rogers is down the back of that chasing group.
Well, look at this for a little turn at the front. Alessandro Demarchi has bridged over to Wellens, and he's gone off. 4.5 to go. 90 seconds is all they have on the yellow jersey group, but off the front of that, and possibly gained around about 6, 8, 10 seconds, is Alberto Contador, and he's in good company with Tony Gallopin as well, who are more of a sprinter, and Contador is using him. Look at Sky just increase the tempo ever so slightly. Contador just having a look back. Now pick a road marker and count it back. It's probably about 6 seconds only he's got right now, and if he's going to go, he's going to have to go now.
Yes, hold on, I just arrived.
Hey, big news. Ask him about his new club.
Okay, I will.
Curtis Jones, I hear you're moving to England. Are you changing club?
It moves you. The new Galaxy Note 8.0.
For more than a decade, we have created national, Olympic, and world champions. Now, Merida takes to the road. Experience what it feels like to ride the fastest bikes. Merida. More bike.
Your turn.
The new Jaguar F-Type. Your turn.
Welcome to my little house in the country. Here I enjoy the simple life, making cidre. The work is hard. The apples have to be picked by hand. But like my father, I still do some of the picking myself. This one. And after an honest day's work, 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to relax with the locals. A simple Belgian recipe for a sophisticated taste. C'est cidre, not cider.
I don't know about you, but I find myself waiting around a lot these days, whether it's in stations, airports, or on buses. Yes, I do take the bus. Then I discovered I could take Sky TV with me when I'm out, just like I would a book. Now, I must admit, I'm quite new to this whole TV on the go, so don't ask me how it works. All I know is you just turn it on, press a couple of buttons, boop, boop, and there it is. Now I can watch, say, Game of Thrones on this when I'm not at home. How does it get in there? That's what I want to know. It's magic. It really is.
Sky TV, whenever and wherever, at no extra cost.
How do you turn 20 gigabytes of streaming data into a faster qualifying time? Or turn 30 million artifacts into a high-tech masterpiece? Whatever your business challenge, Dell Solutions and Services help you solve it, featuring Intel technology.
Uh, 4.1 kilometres. It's not about... He's waiting for instruction, I think, and I think he may well have been told to go back. There you go. The teams do keep well and truly in touch, and that's the man that's causing problems. Michael Rogers, he's on a podium position at the moment, and he wants to hold on for it. It's very tight there, 25 seconds separating positions 3 down to 6. Moreno, Navarro and Fulsang also in the frame. And, well, will he come back for him? Or will he go for it? Well, the answer is he's just dropped back in. And there he is, Sky power by. 3.9 to go. So, Contador playing the team game here. And you've got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, he did it yesterday, and full respect for him. A difficult time, but Peter Kenyuk here now, a bit between his teeth, pushes on. He knows there's a... He has to look after the interests of his team, and if Peter Kenyuk can bring this gap back a wee bit, then there's still possibilities for Richie Porte to win the stage. And I'm thinking at the back of my mind that maybe Chris Froome might think, I thought he'd have a go yesterday, but may want to come to the fore in the last kilometre and try and help Richie Porte to the for a stage win here in the Critérium du Dauphiné.
Incidentally, if you're wondering, Contador just dropping back and in the main group here, and that's taken the heat out of the pace, has it? Well, it hasn't had the desired effect. Is he going to drop further back and really relay his man back on?
Yeah, looks that way. It just needs a wee bit of help. Sometimes when you start to suffer in a climb, you just need someone in front of you. If there is a bit of a wind, you just see Contador looking behind. It'd be nice to see that I'm actually looking after Rogers, because sometimes you can just go through a wee bit of a bad patch. Sometimes this happens in a day like today when it's cold and wet, and sometimes very difficult to eat and get in your pockets, especially get gloves on and things like that early on the stage.
Well, we saw, to be honest, as Joaquin Rodriguez just teased himself up, he's got his teammate just drifting off. Will he go for an attack? If he does, then we've kind of spotted it. Yeah, we saw Chris Froome struggling with his gloves, and in fact Edvald Bosenhagen had to feed him early. take a piece of cake out of the back pocket and hand it to him, and then he couldn't open it with his gloves, had to use his teeth, and it was wrapped in foil, and we're saying I hope he hasn't got any fillings, because otherwise he'll feel that. Here is Demarchi, 3.2 kilometres to go, and this is not a bad effort by him. And the way things are panning out further down as Contador just drops back, he kind of went into the Sky train and thought maybe they'll knock the pace off if I sit here, and that will give Mick Rogers a chance to get back, but it didn't happen. And right now, the kilometres are clipping down.
just noticed there that Peter Kenyuk is gone, right? So Peter has put in a big effort, and now it does look as if Geraint Thomas is setting a pace, and setting a fairly hard pace. As you see, Contador now sitting in front of Mick Rogers. Mick Rogers grimacing here, and they want to keep him as well up at the top 10 as possible. Last stage, last big effort, only 3 kilometres to go for these riders, but they're so close at the top. But I'm still thinking that if Geraint can go and bring this gap down, it's going to be touch and go to Demarchi now. Still a couple other riders in between, but Chris Froome may be thinking, he's talking, he's giving out instruction. Maybe he's thinking of Richie Porte and trying to help him for a stage.
Maybe he is. I think possibly should have delivered the gift yesterday. Maybe it's going to be the present that he offers his teammate today. This is a fine effort here by Alberto Contador. He came close, don't forget, on stage 5 when Chris Froome beat him, and he's now not thinking about stage victory himself, but playing the team game and trying to get Mick Rogers to finish at the top. There's Chris just relaying back to base, and this may well be that he's going to give the get-go to Richie Porte. That would be fantastic. It's the man sitting just in front of him at the moment, and in fact Chris Froome is kind of playing as a wingman, just protecting him from Navarro at that point. There is Contador. Well, he knows that today is not going to be his, but will it be this man's?
Well, again, still touch and go. 113, he's still hanging in, but you know, he's out the saddle down, pushing a bigger gear. He is starting to struggle. Nice to see actually Contador helping out Mick Rogers. Yeah. You got to repay your teammates. Okay, he's up there in general classification, but when it comes to the Tour, situation could be reversed. Mick Rogers will give everything to help Contador. Okay, this is in the same stature as the Tour de France, still a big race, but he'll get repaid for these efforts now, stropping back, because again, Contador potentially could have been winning the stage today, so he's decided to help the man that's best placed in the overall.
Yep, his teammate best placed, and he's third in the GC. He's got others breathing down his neck, like Moreno from Katusha, Navarro from Cofidis, Fuglsang, that went so well yesterday, as you know. So there it is. There is Rogers and Contador, and the gap between the yellow jersey group and they is starting to expand, and that's a real shame. 2.3 kilometers remaining, and there's our line. Just a little bit of a breakdown in the pictures, unfortunately, because of the cloud, which is digital relay issues. We give you what we are receiving from our host broadcaster incidentally here at Eurosport, so bear with us. We're as frustrated as you are when we get this kind of pixelation, but good to know that it's at least intermittent, and we have Demarchi up the road right now. 1:04 back, but 2.2 to go. There is Richie Porte. When will he light the touch paper, or will he at all? Tony Gallopin just backing in. Oh, it's all kicking off all of a sudden.
Yeah, Porte's just come to the front with Froome in the wheel.
And away they go. Chris Froome just dragging Richie Porte along with him. He's working for him today.
Yeah, it looks as if he wants to try and, that's what they were talking about, give him that stage win. He's distanced everybody else, so Richie Porte and Chris Froome head and shoulders above everybody else here, and just giving a call out. Chris Froome just riding too hard for him. You just need to keep him in the wheel. 1.9 kilometres to go for the leader, 59 seconds, so it is very capable of a stage win. Maybe left it a wee bit too late yesterday, but leaving everybody in their wake, including the Astana ride at Fuglsang.
So Chris Froome stretches his legs, and this just shows the power of the man. Richie Porte having to call to him and to say, look, slow down, wait for me, wait for me. He's back where he needs to be right now. And watch that clock tick down. The man out front, there he is Alessandro Demarchi. Well, is his card marked? He's starting to suffer. He's turning squares at the moment. And look at the arm movement as well. Compare that to the absolute core strength of Chris Froome here. Lock solid. Richie Porte nearest to him, and everyone else has been left in their wake. This is great. This is a race against the clock as much as anything else.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Chris Froome there. He's turning around, speaking to Richie Porte. I don't think Richie Porte can speak, and I think the other guys behind him can't even speak as well. It just shows you the class of the man. He's totally on form. wants to help his teammates. So we're seeing some great teamwork here by Team Sky, and also Saxo Tinkoff, Contador dropping back to help his third place in general classification, Mick Rogers. It does look as if Mick Rogers would be losing time, but then a great valiant effort by DeMarchi in front, still 43 seconds, but he's got the yellow jersey and Richie Porte breathing down his neck. 1.5 kilometres to go. It's going to go into the last few hundred metres.
It is going to go into the last few hundred metres, and this man had better have something of a sprint on him, because they are closing down fast. 43 seconds only now back to Chris Froome, and look at this. Richie Porte, they're on a slightly flatter section. It's what DeMarchi, don't forget, he hasn't been guided up here, the Cannondale rider. What's he got left? 1,400 metres only, 38 seconds now. This is slow and painful stuff, and Richie Porte's got to believe that he's got something here. He's got the best man out there at the moment guiding him. Chris Froome wants to offer him this stage when he could probably take it himself.
Yeah, he could probably take it himself, but then again, it's like Contador here, it's giving favours and helping out your teammates, because come the Tour de France, when they are giving 100% for you, they will always give that wee bit more because you've helped them. And yeah, it's nice to see both Contador and Chris Froome doing this for their teammates. 35 seconds, he's going to really struggle now to hang on, and hanging on
so is
Richie Porte to the yellow jersey of Chris Froome, who looks absolutely sublime.
There we go. Now 1 kilometre to go for DeMarchi. It does flatten out, by the way. He's on the steepest section right now. It's about the last 350 metres that it eases up. Chris Froome, I wonder whether Richie Porte's just going to say, look, just go, take it yourself, and let him have another stage victory. And I wonder whether that message has actually already been called. There is Richie Porte holding on for dear life. He'd love there to be a tow rope between them and just take some of Froome's energy. It's unbelievable what he's got on board. Flamme Rouge for them as well. 1K to go, and the rain continues to pour down here. And one man is pouring everything into this drive for the line. Can he make it? Alessandro DeMarchi. It would be impressive.
Well, he's using every muscle in his body now to try and hang on, and so is Richie Porte. Chris Froome looking behind them, they have to go just a wee bit faster than they're going at the moment. But can they? Have they left it a wee bit too late, like yesterday when Richie Porte went on the attack? But this man is now out the saddle, really trying to push the pedals round. This is going down to the wire now.
Absolutely. Chris Froome actually engaged in conversation, getting nothing back from Richie Porte. Just turned around and said, come on, we can do this. It was encouragement, and Richie Porte is almost gone euphoric. When you can get that at altitude, don't forget. DeMarchi, an overwhelming sense of well-being, which is a mistake at altitude, especially if it's cold, and it is cold, and it is wet, and these guys are driving it on. Haven't got a gap for you right now. The clock's out. Maybe the transponders aren't working, but this man is delivering all the messages he needs to be at the moment. And here comes Contador coming through with Mick Rogers. Brave effort by them, but it's what's going on in front that we're concerned about. DeMarchi still churns it on. Can he make it, Brian?
Yeah, he's looking good at the moment for DeMarchi. He's still just concentrating on the road in front of him. It's going to be very close. You can just see Chris Froome now putting it in the big ring, the big outside chain ring, with 500 metres to go.
Come on, he says.
Just saying, come on, come on, come on. It must be really close. They must be able to see DeMarchi, but I can't see it happening for Richie Porte today.
Let's go, he says. He's just round this corner, believe me. And, well, they have got belief. Can't even see the line. He's at the hoardings right now, and it suddenly levels out. I think he might just make this 200 metres. Froome still believes. Richie Porte not so sure, and I think he's got it, and he certainly has. Alessandro DeMarchi checks over his shoulder. Oh, this is great. What an escape he makes it, especially after this much effort. Pushing on, easing up, pushing on again and again. He checks over his shoulder once more. He still can't quite believe it, and now he's invoking the heavens as well, blessing himself, and we say bless you, Alessandro DeMarchi. He makes it, comes to a virtual standstill across the line. Brilliant. Chris Froome looks round and says, come on. He's telling Porte to get a move on here because Talansky's here. And in fact, Porte says, just go, I can do it now. It's eased up and Talansky comes through. He's going to try and get a little bit of space here. What a cheeky move laid on that was. And Chris Froome says, hey, hang on a minute. You're not going to take runner-up on this day. Absolutely not. Richie Porte comes across the line. And, well, good team efforts absolutely everywhere, and there he is. Porte hits the line, and we look further back. What a day.
Yeah, Fulsang's just finishing here, and that'll probably move him to third overall. You can just see
count back.
Perito Rodriguez helping Moreno, and Valverde just coming across the line, so they'll stay there. Navarro coming in here for Cofidis, and then you've got Rowan Dennis, the white jersey, so he'll win that competition. Just see the effort in the faces.
Now then, has Contador done a proper job? 27 seconds between Fulsang and Mick Rogers. Don't forget, at the beginning of the day overall, it's third place up for grabs, and we look through the cloud and we can't see them, and I think it's Fulsang that's got that third place, and here they are, bouncing past the 250 meters. Well, all the efforts there by Alberto Contador, sadly, I don't think have come to much, and it's going to be Fulsang who takes third place at the very end. Not talking down Contador at all. That was a fantastic team effort. Runner-up to Chris Froome, don't forget, on stage 5, but Contador will finish in the top 10, I'll be bound, today, as they continue, the stragglers, to come in. Oh, those brave enough to have animated today. There is Contador, checks over his shoulder just to find out where Rogers is, but it's done. Brian, I'm afraid, and Fulsang has taken the podium that they fought so valiantly to protect.
Yeah, that's what happens, and great win here by this man here from Cannondale, Eddie Markey, really taking on yesterday, failing, going out again today, getting in the breakaway, and you know, a deserved effort. This is the first year at World Tour level after spending about 2 or 3 years at you know, second division Pro Continental. Great win for Cannondale.
Fantastic, great win for the man himself. He can't quite believe it. He's being offered a drink, and well, you can't tell
today.
You can't tell if there's any tears due to the rain. Absolutely. They're going to come in more than thinned out, as a lot of riders will have stepped off today. The cars guided away, and so are our day's gladiators. Demarchi takes the day. Chris Froome is the winner of this Critérium du Dauphiné, and Talansky just coming home in third place on the day's stage. Froome, who'd been doing relay duties for Richie Port, hoping that he could get the stage win, was not going to hand over a gift of runner-up on the day. Said, I'll have that myself, thank you very much. Froome, Port, Moreno. There's your 1, 2, 3. That says Moreno. I'm not sure that's right. I'd like to see the rest of it. If it is, then well done to Moreno, and Katusha must have come in under the fog while we were just looking at our man here. Well, if Moreno's made it, then he's denied Fulsang, and that late drive. There we go. That's our stage winner, but it's about the man in yellow. Will he be in yellow on the Tour? I'll be bound he will.